Hello and welcome to the first Let's Play here on the channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my tips and tricks and guides to Forza Horizon 4. So without further ado, let's play. Okay, so welcome to Let's Play Forza Horizon 4. So firstly, I wanted to talk about the festival playlist. So every time you start the game you see it. But at first it can look confusing, and particularly if you have a car that you're desperate for at 50% or even at 80%. So then this part is for you. So at first you see the festival playlist overall completion. So there's two reward, one at 50% and one at 80%. So these change each month. So I recommend subscribing to the Playground Games YouTube channel to stay up to date with the changes that they bring. At the moment, at 50% completion, it's the Diablo GTR, and at 80% is the Toyota Celica 1982 model. Then the overall season award again at 51 at 50%, one at 80%. Now these change each Thursday at 4 o'clock GMT, that's Greenwich Mean Time. As each season changes, new rewards become available. So at the moment we're in autumn, so these are the two autumn rewards. The previous season, there's the summer ones. Next season, you'll see these are the winter ones, and then next season, those are the spring ones. So yeah, they change each winter. Current season, spring. Previous ones, summer. So yeah, each one changes each week as the seasons change. So next you then have the new feature, the photo challenge. Each one changes with each season. Although you only get the super wheel spin, it's needed in order to complete the season to 80%. Then you have the season challenges, although here it's called the weekly hashtag Forzathon challenge. So these are a little more complicated than they appear. The first four involve you in a specific car doing a specific task. So there it's talking about express delivery in the Ford Transit Supervan. The rest on these ones, they can be done in any order, but will only appear on a specific day. So as you can see there, some of them aren't active yet and have a time limit on how long they'll be ready for and when they'll deploy. But they will all be active by Thursday, when they will all be ready. So if you have time, I recommend leaving these all till Thursday, when you can then get on and be there. These will also award you Forzathon points, which you can then spend in the Forzathon shop. And also, both of those will also change each season as well. So, moving on to the Forza events, these will also change each season. So here's how these work. So first you have the trial. This is a team-based event online with other players. It's a championship race event. So you're in a team of 6 racing against driver cars, and you have to win all 3 championships to get the reward. As you can see, I've already done it. You'll then have to compete in 3 seasonal events. These are also 3 unique seasonal championships. Inside them there are 3 races, which you also have to complete against highly skilled driver cars. There's also 3 PR stunts as well. Also there's the playground games as well, so you have to win against, again, that's all of that is online, so you have to play against So you're in a team of, again, similar to the trial, you're in a team of 6 versus driver tasks, and you have to win, and usually it's a car. So most of the awards are a car, apart from the PR, stunts, and the showcase remix. Obviously those are, usually they are super wheel spins, but the rest are usually cars or clothing, etc. So the showcase remix is usually a modified remix. So usually there's the five remixes. The Behemoth with the hovercraft, the Flying Scotsman with the race against the Flying Scotsman, the race against the motorbikes, the Halo one, and the Vulcan Bomber. I don't think I've missed any. I probably have. I'll probably find out when I activate the world map. I've already missed one somewhere. And they change the they change it slightly. They race it against a car, or they'll change the course. They'll change the car slightly, and you just have to drive the car and beat the whatever it is. So the last thing you'll have to do is the monthly rivals. So this is a time trial in a different car each season. Essentially, it's just round a course that they've decided, and once you've done that, you can basically complete everything. And if you can get to 80% on all 4 seasons, then you can gain 80% on the festival playlist. I have only ever done this once. So that's the festival playlist out of the way. On to something a little bit more interesting, which would be cars. So having a wide arsenal of cars will help you navigate the 5 different types of race circuits. Now for me, I've found that having different types of cars helps me race against different types of helps me race with the 5 different types of main courses. Obviously, some of the race circuits will obviously require you to race the unique brand. So obviously you've got the retro rallies, you've got the classic cars, and obviously I understand that obviously you'll need those cars. But the main ones, like the general ones, you can get away with using, some broad ones. So what I'm doing is I'm just giving you a broad stroke of what I would recommend. This is what I would recommend using for those ones. What I've found are the best types of cars for those races, based on the types of cars that go for the brakes for it, based on the speeds, based on a varying different things. At the moment, you can see my latest car, the McLaren Speedtail. That won't be the car I'll be driving, so that won't be what I'm driving today. But you can see that. So for the road racing series, I would recommend the muscle car, a muscle car, or some supercars. They're a good place to start for the road racing series. If you want speed and power, but you also want to make it around those turns as well. So they've muscle cars and supercars, great for speed. They're great for acceleration, especially when you modify them a little bit. Tweak some stuff. I would recommend doing that on all the cars as well. Just tweak what you want to tweak, and also they're great for that boost of speed you can get out of them. For the street racing series, any modified car or hypercar. For this, you want to be fast, but remember you want to brake too, and also remember it's a street race, so you want to look your best as well. That's just in my opinion. Don't take my word for it. The best car I found for street races was the Jaguar from the James Bond pack. The Jaguar CX-75. That was the best one I found for street races. Had the best brakes, had the best acceleration. As you can see, I did modify it in the end, but it was the best one all round. The dirt racing series, one of my personal favourites. For this, I would recommend any hot hatch or buggy would be good. You know, I've found either of those can work. Yeah, they're both. Both of those can be quite versatile. Yeah. One of my personal favourites lately is the Hoonigan Ford S200 Evolution. So if you can get your hands on one of those, that's quite brutal. I know people recommend either of these two for dirt racing, the Ford Focus RX and the Ford Fiesta ST. Both of those two, I know people recommend those two. But I recommend picking up yourself one of those, a Ford RS 200, great on dirt. I'll show you later when we do the drifting talk. But yeah, I definitely recommend picking up one of those on that. Yeah, for the cross-country series, I would recommend an SUV or an off-roader. I think the Ford F-150 is a good place to start for that, especially the Raptor. So that one is a good one. I picked that one up at the very start of the game. So that one's a good one to start with, personally speaking. And again, very good, very versatile one for off-roading, and any SUV. And again, another good place to start for anything. So SUVs are a good way to start. I think there's some, the Durango SRT Dodge is a good one to pick up, I would say, and you can win them. Well, you can win any of these most of these in a wheel spin, so pick them up if you can. For the drag racing series, I would recommend any car with a Class X 999. So they're pretty easy to find and modify up to. If you can get your hands on the McLaren Senna, that's a pretty good way of getting up to the that speed, getting up to the X99 class very quickly, as well. And also I think you can get it on the Lego Speed Champions as well. So if you've got Lego Speed Champions and you've got the Senna, I recommend that. If you're lucky enough to get your hands on one, the Rimac Concept 2 would probably also be a good bet for the drag racing series as well. So we'll get into some racing now. I'm going to have to drive to one of my races, I think. We'll use the speed trail. So we'll move on to the driving tactics next, which is what I'm going to show off in this race, hopefully. Right, I'm going to pause it there for a second, just while so you might be thinking that I might be going a bit mad to say that there's no such thing as tactical driving, but that is where you are quite wrong. So what I'm going to do first is, if you're in first place, which I'm currently not in, I should mention, if you do get stuck in a pinch, do press Y and use the rewinds. I'm just going to pause there again. So, you just saw me a little bit, is what you want to do is, if you're in first place, you need to hold first place. You don't want to give them an opportunity to overtake you, even though that previous guy just overtook me. So, your first idea, so first, forget the idea that you need to look behind you. Your ears are your greatest weapon, I would say. So I usually drive with no Forza Horizon radio, and I use my own music on low volume. One, this puts me in a groove that I like. Two, allows me to focus, so I listen for the engine and brake and screech noise of the car behind and assume their position. At night you can also use headlights. So once you've got this information, you can use this to I can use this to move my car either left or right to block their overtaking manoeuvre. In a team match like the trial or the playground, I can use this to block their manoeuvre. This is the advantage in a team match. You can hold the position longer for amount of time. That way you can gain those points. Hopefully, this time I'll be able to show you this in real time. Okay, here we go. So, we're in 7th. There you go. So as you can see, using the information that I'm listening to behind me, I've managed to hold on to second place with that guy very close behind me, that I've barely had to turn the camera around to get his position. That was me getting distracted. So yeah, using the noises of the engines, you can hold on to the place. Place is a lot longer. Now, there we go. So I'm going to change cars, and we're going to talk about the drive line next. So this is something that I think quite a few people miss, and it's, you know, there's much more than just telling you where the course is or just, you know, navigating you to your destination, you know, via Anna. There's a lot more to it. So, you know, when we're talking about the drive line, we're talking about so I've just set the destination. This little blue line. This one on the floor. This is the Rimac. So, as you can see, it's just changing colour there. That's enough for you. So, it's giving you information. Blue means, so it's blue now, that it's okay for me to open up the taps, pedal to the metal, you know, go for it. You know. Now, so what? That's great. Now, there you go. Oh, darn. Let's quickly get it to change direction for me. Perfect. So, over there you can see it's gone to red, and it's gone to red. Red means that if I don't brake, that's going to happen. I've not made it around my corner, and I've lost all speed. Which is what usually happens, you know, with a fast car. You lose all speed. So, now watch. Same corner. But if I brake, I've made the corner, and I'm travelling at a much faster pace. Now let's demonstrate the next colour. Because there's a nice little middle colour to all this. Yellow means that if I do a little drift, I can just about make the corner without losing too much speed. I'll still lose some speed, but not too much. But red will still mean that I still go completely off course. I'm in the weeds. You know, what was the point of that manoeuvre? Didn't get me anywhere other than completely dead stop. Again, same corner, but if I brake, I've made the corner. Progress is not halted. So, you know, and of course, if the corner's blue, then by all means floor it. But it just means you can make the corner and you can save yourself a heck of a lot of time with the recovery as well, which is what I've learned. But just taking that time to brake as well. What also the race brakes will do is also you can, by using that time, you can catch up with the next person in front of you because they've also broken. They've also used their brakes, you've used your brakes, you're gaining that catch-up time, and with your recovery speed you can almost sort of perform a little slingshot manoeuvre with your speed up. Great fun. So, this seems like a good time, I think, to move on to drifting. Now for this, I'm going to have to go to a special location for this, because I'm not in the right place at all to do drifting lessons. For one thing, it's just not the right area, nor am I in the right car. So, yeah. Same principle, really. The line will help you to drift as well, sort of. And for me, the dirt is also where I perfected drifting as well, so it's kind of a natural place. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to use one of my favourite cars. So let's get back in the... Here we are. So everyone thinks it's the A button with a drift. Don't try the A. A is an E drift. You don't want the E drift. What you want to do, we'll just set that route there, is you want to lightly tap your brake. Okay. This is Mud Kickers, one of my favourite places. So, this is the scary part. We have the tunnel. There you go. There's a little dab of braking, you can get the drift in. Now, one of the key things with a drift is you can sort of control it. And surprisingly, this comes from a quote from one of my favourite Disney Pixar films. Turn right to go left. So, for example, so if you turn in the opposite way you're going, you can actually control the drift. That wasn't a great example. So, let's do this again. So by turning the wheels the other way, it allowed me to extend the drift in the tunnel to get the drift going. So this allows me to do that on the road as well. On the dirt, easy. But, you know, hey Besto, but it is strange how just that little quote could just help you in this kind of situation. So what we'll do is let's go to the playlist and take part in one of these. Let's demonstrate for you everything that. So all of those things will help you do one of these. Let's do Diagon Valley. That sounds like a good one to do. So yeah, all those things I've just talked about will help you will help you complete everything. Will help you do a seasonal event, basically. Or they'll even help you do the standard races as well, actually. So, yeah, and what we'll do now is I'll show you everything in one of the races. One thing I haven't mentioned is modifying helps. So if you've got, if you've got a car and you're not happy with performance, try upgrading the engine, the wheels, just try upgrading whatever you can. I'll show you what I mean in a few minutes, because you'll be able to see that process as well. So what we're going to do now is, for the event, when I talked about the modifying of the cars, we're going to look at what that really means. The seasonal events, they require you to only enter a car with a Pacific class. So it's quite difficult to enter. So it can be quite complicated to enter them, particularly when you want to, go as fast as possible. So my best suggestion would be to look in tunes and take a look at some of the best ones out here, and also look for ones that say this, best seasonal, or look for ones that say the seasonal name or something along the lines for a seasonal event, because those are the ones that have been best suited for the season, and those are the ones that you want to get. Because trust me when I say this, you want ones that have been designed, tried and tested for the seasonal event. So what I've just done is I've just tuned this, one of the eligible cars for the event to do the event. Because one of the other things with the eligible event, it forces you to drive these. Now I'm quite familiar with these Audis, with the Audi Quattro, so that's why I went for the Audi Quattro rather than one of the other ones. That's another thing. If it allows you to choose one of the cars that you're familiar with, choose it, because you'll have a better chance of because you'll have a better chance of success with a car that you know. And you can trust me on that. So here we go. Everything I've just showed you, let's put this to work. Oh yeah, so quickly, I always like to make sure I've done photo mode. There you go. Always like to make sure I do photo mode at the start of the race. So there's the race line, there's the brake, and there's me ruining the corner. Already. Obviously on a long straight, go for it. So it's yellow, quick drift, and I can save the corner. That corner's really bothering me, that top one. There we go. Little bit rough around the edges on that turn. Now with the seasonal events, they want you to finish first place at the end of the championship. So what it's about is collecting enough points. So although I came second, I've got 16 points. All I've got to do now is just make sure I come first later on. So I'm not too fussed that I haven't come first in that race. Just got to try again in the other ones. Which, there are 2 more races. Just as long as I don't want any hills. Hills are a weakness, your weakness on these kind of things, especially with the older cars, because they'll slow down. But hopefully, as it says rally, hopefully I'll get some off-roading or some dirt racing in, and hopefully I can make up for lost ground on the last 2 stages. One is hoping. One other thing to look out for with the seasonal events, if you can spot the chap who's above you, all you have to do is beat him as well. So that's another one you can try and look out for. Oops. One missed his checkpoint. So as you can see, now what I'm doing is drafting, which is not something I did before, but it's something that I've started doing. Ah! And there we go. What you need to do is just outsmart them just long enough for you to hold the position. So back there I was hearing the engine noise of second position. I could just hear it, just creeping up behind me. And I just held on long enough to escape his clutches. Remember, these are highly skilled driver cars you're racing against. You've got to really think. Oh. Am I going to be able to outsmart them? So here comes second position again. But no matter, because there's the finish line. Now, where did my compatriot in second place arrive? So now, leaderboard is starting to look interesting. So what I have to do now is come first to the next race, and the points will add up in my favour to me winning. So the next stage is a circuit again. Circuit races are a little bit more trickier to control the flow. On a sprint, you can sort of control it. With circuit races, it's a little bit more difficult. Okay, so third and final demonstration of the skill of the things that I've been talking about. Clean start is also a good thing to aim for as well. If you don't hit anyone, you can get a good clean getaway as well. That's a good one to go for. Note I mentioned I didn't want hills. We got a hilly one. So you can see the person I need to beat is in first place. And there we go. So that's the modifications there working their magic. So not modifying my car there, racing in standard, would mean I wouldn't have been able to pass him. So I do recommend giving your cars the tuning up they need. Go to the maximum you can tune them, so just check the eligibility of the cars, what cars you can have on there, on each one. Check the class as well, and then check what cars you can actually race. You can see with the highly skilled driver tiles, it's, you know, getting quite close, quite touch and go. You know, it can get quite intense. It feels quite intense. You know, you do get quite a good real race with the different skill set. And across the line, and there we go. So as you can see, just by not coming, although I came second in the first race, I came first in the second race and first in the third race, you can see I've gained the points I need to come first in the overall championship, and I've completed the seasonal event, come first overall, gained the reward needed, gained all 3 rewards in actual fact, because there's a reward on each one. Obviously with the tuning setups, I recommend if you've come first, like the tuning setups, because you'll help the people who create them. And obviously when you go to the, new car added to your garage, happy days. And then when you go to the festival playlist, you'll see I've gained more percentage on my season progress, more percentage on my series progress. It's the festival playlist, and obviously I've completed that seasonal event and gained the reward therein, obviously. You know, so yes, I hope you enjoyed the very first Let's Play on the channel. Sorry it's a bit longer than anticipated, but with the first Let's Play it was going to be. Not sure what the next video will be yet. We'll see what that one will be. And I look forward to seeing you on episode 9 of Ark News. So yeah.